Welcome to Brian Subbo's Discover Where Your Photography Can Take You. Landscape Photography, Part 1. I love landscape photography. I got into photography because I wanted to express the beauty that surrounds us. And over the years, I've come across several tips that can really help make your landscape photography shine. But first, I have to briefly inform you about a technical matter. You see, most landscape images have lots of detail in them. For you to achieve this, you have to know a little about apertures. But for the sake of time, I'm simply going to tell you that you need to set your camera's aperture for f11, f16, f22, or any of the apertures in between. Skipping the physics lesson, just believe me when I tell you these apertures will give you the necessary detail you'll want for a successful shot. If your camera only goes to f8, set it to that, and in many cases, you'll be just fine. There are several techniques to use to capture interesting landscape shots. The one I'm going to share with you here is what I refer to as using a foreground subject. The use of a foreground subject gives shots dimension, scale, and depth. The size of the subject can be large or it can be more subtle, just as long as it works as a visual anchor for the viewer. Using a foreground object is especially important when expressing larger vista-type scenes. Why? Because our mind's eye has the tendency to compartmentalize the scene before us and translate all the important and beautiful things about the scene into our senses. We notice the beauty because we are living in that now moment. The camera does not have this skill. You have to make the camera see what you are seeing. Simply pointing the camera at the scene often results in dismal images. A foreground subject stands as an anchor to the viewer. It gives the viewer a place to lock in and get an idea of how big the scene is before them. Remember, you were there. You saw the immensity of the scene. The viewer is only going to see a 4x6 or an 8x10 or a computer screen image. You have to take that big scene and express it for a smaller frame. The foreground subject is a perfect solution for grounding that perspective for your viewer. Also, once you have that foreground subject in place, make it your focal point. Either focus manually or lock your autofocus on the foreground subject, then snap the shot. Because again, without the physics lesson, camera lenses can often focus everything easier from front to back, but can't do it successfully from back to front. Use this tip well. It will instantly transform your pictures into captivating ones. And after all, that's what we're trying to do. So keep shooting with passion, implement a foreground subject into your landscape photos, and discover where your photography can take you.